introduce Chesha Hodge, who has sent a very long impressive bio. I actually had to trim it down to put in our program, but I encourage people to look at the program that you all should have by now. But she is the founder of the Balanced Diet LLC and is going to give a fairly quick nutrition talk from farm to fork. Chesha?
So thank you. Thank you both for this opportunity to be on here to give a nutritional approach to the impact that is made from the harvested produce that's here in Delaware. I am not a native Delawarean. I am a Jersey girl through and through, but I'm going to use this 20 seconds to make sure that I give you as much information as possible and celebrate the great work that you guys are doing. In addition to the LLC that I created in 2018, I am also a dietetic intern at Delaware State University. So I am in the Cooperative dietetic program, and I'm en route to becoming a registered dietitian. So this is really close to my heart, talking about nutrition, the importance of it, and also the work that I do with SNAP Ed and bridging that gap between food and the people that are touched by the food is really important to me. So we just have a couple of objectives, and that's to first understand the role that nutrition plays in agriculture. The second is to explore the populations that are directly impacted by local farming, which I did talk about briefly, to identify 4 seasonal crops and their nutritional return on investment, and then also to connect local farmers to resources that can increase market sales and reach out to those nutritionally impacted communities, those people that really need it. So I'm not going to be super dry. I'm going to rush through it, but I want to make sure that you get meat and potatoes. There's going to be some poll questions to keep it really interactive. Please, I know this is lunchtime. I don't like to get in the way of people and their food. So we're going to make it quick and efficient and get through it. So the first question that is typically raised is, what exactly is nutrition, right? You hear the term a lot. I study nutrition, right? I study dietetics, but what is nutrition? And according to the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, nutrition is defined as how food affects the health of the body. So one of the polls that's going to be coming up is just a question of what influences most of your food choices. So that'll be coming up soon. And think about what some of those items are. So we're looking at taste, appearance, and convenience, but I did also want to delve into the purpose behind why we even eat, right? So we don't just eat because we're hungry. We do eat because we're hungry. Some of us eat when we're not hungry, but it has so much to do with human growth and development. We're talking about cognitive function. If anyone's ever been hangry, if anyone's ever needed a Snickers because you're not yourself, that's that cognitive function piece. For physiological sustainability, for the mobility of your arms and your legs and your limbs, for your body to be able to do the things that it does, it's important to have a set of nutrients that work in conjunction to get that stuff going. Hot ticket item, immunity, right? We are now in a new place. I dare not say the in word, right? Or the in phrase, but we're in a place where staying healthy and being healthy is very important. And it's great to see that that trend is changing. But along with those trends, we want to make sure that we are consuming foods, fruits, and vegetables that have a really high nutritional impact on our bodies. Also, to reduce instances of disease. You may have an individual. Oh, thought I heard
Chessa,
something.
Chessa, sorry, I actually put the polls in here wrong. So if they could just answer the first question, I'll get it fixed by the second.
Oh, okay. Should I close this on my screen?
No, they can go ahead and just answer the first question if they
Okay.
could. Sorry.
No, no problem. And also to what's most important, not most important, but most trending is the concept and the idea of weight management. And that's something that is always a hot ticket item, and weight management is not always the loss of weight, but it can also be gaining weight in certain situations. We typically look at a healthy person, a person who is free of disease, but for those that are trying to rebuild their health, food is important to help make that happen. So thank you so much for filling out that poll. Am I able to see the results of the poll? Ooh, so taste. Taste is really influential and most important in many of your food choices. And so that's interesting. I know that you guys have had the opportunity to learn more about how to add nutrients to soil and things that you can do to help improve your produce or your production, your harvest. And taste is one of those components that is also a very hot topic because I don't know if you've noticed, no, you probably have, if you participate in some of these things, food is changing. I saw for the first time cotton candy grapes. I'm like, cotton candy grapes? Grapes don't taste like cotton candy, but in ways to make adjustments and changes to the food that we eat so that it can continue to be appealing, continue to draw us in so that we can continue to eat them. Okay. So, just another outstanding fact as we're talking about the importance of the nutrients and foods that we are consuming, fruits, vegetables, and legumes, those things that you are working hard to harvest and bring to our table, are optimal sources of macro, micro, and phytonutrients. And phytonutrients, specifically, if you're not aware, comes from the Greek word meaning plant. And these are natural defenses against fungus and bacteria that happens naturally in plants that when consumed by the human body is also really beneficial to us as well, whether it's may have some anti-cancerous benefits or if it can also help to support our immune system. It's really important, the work that you do and the food that comes from what you do. So I just want to make a really fun snapshot of SNAP in Delaware. So SNAP is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. And as I mentioned before, I'm with the Cooperative Extension at Del State, and we do the SNAP education piece. But just thinking about the benefit of SNAP and who's actually being touched, many people may assume in this day and age still that it is just families that are poor or fall below the poverty level. But it's not just families, it's specifically children are being looked at. Most recently, with the changes in our economy, there are more families that are taking advantage of the benefit of SNAP to help supplement their food in their families' homes. You also have the elderly. You also have those who are disabled that don't have the ability to work that benefit from these programs. And so it's so important for us as a whole to keep in mind that when we partner with different organizations that allot food to people that are in need, it has such a strong benefit, not just for the purpose of eating, but for all of the things that we're going to talk about in a few minutes, those nutrients that are helping to sustain people so that they can live well and be healthy. So again, with the snapshot, there's just a couple of dates between September 19th and September 2019 and September 2020. There's been an increase, and this is from Delaware, from December of last year. And so what we definitely know that since that time, those numbers have probably increased because the need is there. So there's well, I think you guys did answer all the poll questions already. So we're going to take a look at what those responses are. But if not, the poll question is, which of these vegetables do you harvest most in March? So I pulled from the pickyourown.org Delaware harvest calendar just to get an idea of what is being harvested right now in March. And what we saw is that there's broccoli, cabbage, and also leafy greens that are most harvested around this time. So just to get an idea, I want to see what the majority of you are harvesting most of this month, because what we're going to do is highlight the nutritional properties, the nutrient properties in all of these foods, as well as another bonus item as well. Leafy greens. Ooh, I can't wait to hear what kind of leafy greens. Hopefully you can share that in the chat if you are interacting. So leafy greens. So let's take a look at a couple of things. Did you guys know that Delaware had a state fruit? I didn't know that. And so I learned that strawberries are actually Delaware's state fruit. Now, again, it's not March. I believe, to my understanding, it's in May that that's being harvested, but I did want to highlight it and talk about some of the nutrients that you find in these items. So first, vitamin C. Everyone knows about vitamin C, especially now during these days. We know that vitamin C encourages immunity response. You know, people take vitamin C when they're feeling sick. But another really fun fact about vitamin C, that it actually may help to reduce uric acid. If there's anybody who suffers from gout, and you know that's a buildup of uric acid in your joints, very, very painful, very debilitating. But it is also really helpful at keeping those numbers down. And it also, as I mentioned, encourages immunity responses and also is very helpful with preventing iron deficiency. Then we have phytonutrients. One of the phytonutrients that is in strawberries is iodine. If anybody ever purchases, because I think now a lot of sea salt is more popular, so there is no addition of iodine in most sea salts. But there was a huge campaign some time ago to help people who were suffering from neck goiters. And so they were putting iodine in the foods, and iodine is a great antioxidant to help reduce free radicals in the body. Then we have potassium. Everybody knows about potassium as well, right? But when we think about potassium, we think about bananas, right? And it has such it is a, potassium is a specific mineral which serves as an electrolyte that helps with muscle contraction, muscle response, muscle function, and also helps to regulate your fluid balance. So if you have an individual who's suffering from high blood pressure, having some potassium in their diet really helps and benefits with that. Fiber, we all know, fiber is our friend. Fiber keeps us regular. Fiber also helps in digestive processing and maintaining a healthy gut biome, which is all the rage right now, as many of us have been in the house eating whatever we can get our hands on. Sometimes we need to kind of restart. Spring is the perfect time for that, to get that going. And the last thing that was on that list was also folate. And we know that folate is something that's encouraged by pregnant women to take folic acid and to consume these folates because they're responsible for development of red blood cells, healthy red blood cells. So the next thing we're going to look at is broccoli. Broccoli, I remember seeing broccoli on my plate as the green trees. And having a strange relationship with broccoli because I just felt like I was tearing down forests, little forests that small elves lived in, though, not big ones. So broccoli, we have calcium. People are often surprised to learn how much calcium is actually in broccoli. And as many of us have learned, calcium is great for bone and teeth health. Protein. Broccoli is also a source of protein. I'm also a certified personal trainer. My brother is a huge fitness fanatic, and he likes to pair his animal proteins and his vegetable proteins. So he does a lot of chicken and broccoli. We know that protein is really important for it's a building block of the human body. Amino acids are the broken down form of protein, and these amino acids are found in our skin. It helps with our organs and our muscles, and it is a vital component of just keeping our body metabolized and keeping that energy going. Then we also have iron. Anybody who knows if they've ever suffered from low iron stores, iron is really important for regulating temperature. If you have cold hands and cold feet, it's important for that. Iron also is a carrier of oxygen in the body, and it helps to carry that oxygen throughout the body so that it gets to all of the parts of yourself. Then we also have zinc. Zinc has been a very hot topic mineral lately. It supports immune system, as we're hearing. It's definitely not a panacea or a cure-all. And you also want to be mindful of the amount of these vitamins that you supplement with, not so much in plants and animal components, but more so when people start to supplement them. There is definitely nothing wrong with taking a multivitamin, but you just want to be mindful. Take a look at the back, make sure you're following those recommended dietary allowances when it comes to those things. But back to zinc. Zinc is also really important with the healing process of wounds, and also with our palate and nasal sensory, so our sense of smell and taste. And then lastly, with broccoli, and this is not limiting the power that these little trees have, but phosphorus can also be related with the term the former, meaning that it helps in forming teeth and bones, it helps in forming cells and tissues. And it's one of the second most abundant minerals in the human body altogether. So broccoli is pretty cool. I love broccoli. I have broccoli all the time. And we have cabbage. Cabbage, really high source of vitamin K. Vitamin K is one of those vitamins that you don't really hear much about. Super, super vital. When you have a cut and you don't just sit there and bleed out, it's because of vitamin K. Vitamin K has a great ability to cause your blood to clot. And clotting, it keeps that blood inside of the body where it belongs, like I said, so that you don't bleed out completely. Then you have manganese. Manganese is another vitamin, and it's a trace mineral specifically, and it works along with vitamin K to build bone, to help metabolize, and it also is really important with energy production. Then we also have magnesium. Magnesium supports energy production. And also, if you are chronically low in magnesium, your body you may not necessarily feel the effects at first, but a chronically low diagnosis of low magnesium can put you at risk for a lot of things: osteoporosis, high blood pressure, even type 2 diabetes is what research has found. Now we're quickly going to just talk about vitamin B6. B6 is one of 8 of the B vitamins. When I don't know about you guys, but when I hear B6, I think about energy. There's always that correlation with that, and B6 is very vital in helping the body to elicit and to start that energy production process. Really, really important. Important for cell function and also those feel good hormones. So that serotonin, that dopamine, that's all about B6. Lastly, when it comes to cabbage, it's just vitamin C. We talked a little bit about that before and the immunity effects. And so one of the things I do want to mention as well is that it's not that these items only have these 5. I have 20 minutes, so I'm trying to highlight a couple things, and I don't want to be super redundant, but you'll see that these vitamins and minerals are present across the board because you have items that are growing from the ground itself. So if you put these nutrients in the soil, it's going to be pulled up and it's going to be confound in the food that we eat. It's important how we prepare those foods as well, so that we don't boil our broccoli to death, so that then all the nutrients are in the water and it loses its structure, and it also loses its nutritional compounds, and then it's not as effective. So always like a light steam or raw for some, but that's neither here nor there. So with green leafy greens, this is a picture of kale. We have vitamin C, which we've again talked about very much. Then we also have vitamin A, and there's 2 forms of vitamin A. There's a plant form, and there's also an animal form. Same thing with iron. And in plant form, it's called provitamin A. Still does the same thing, but it's really, really important in eye health. Really important in eye health. And so you'll see, like if you have certain children, you don't have it too much here in the US, you do have it internationally, but here in the US, you'll find that there's some children that don't have as much vitamin A, and they start to have either, what is it called? Like low light sensitivity. And then it can even cause blindness if it is chronic and continuous. Then we also have vitamin K, and then we have copper. And I thought that copper was really neat also as an inclusion, as another mineral that helps to support energy processes. And so we're drawing to our close here, and I wanted to make sure that there are opportunities again to bridge the gap between the great work that you do and then it actually reaching the mouths of the people that need it most. So there is on the SNAP website, which I pulled this directly from, an opportunity for direct marketing farmers and those that are involved in the farmers market program to be able to collect SNAP funds, in opposed to just cash or like a debit card. You can actually take in these EBT funds, for exchange for the food products that are being purchased by SNAP recipients. And this can happen at farmers markets, outdoor or even indoor farmers markets. You can have them either on the farm itself or as a large collaborative effort with other social organizations and other farmers as well. So I just wanted to read right off of the link. And it says to improve access to fresh fruits and vegetables by low income Americans is a USD priority. Additionally, through a cooperative agreement, the National Association of Farmers Market Nutrition Programs, NAFMNP, is providing access to a SNAP mobile application by DMFs and FMs free of cost for 1 year. So here's another poll question. Are you a direct marketing farmer or a part of the farmers market group? Is that something that you participate in? Would really love to know. And just a side note, it would be great to continue the conversation and finding out if anybody is a part of that market line, because you typically would have to purchase the equipment. But what the USD is doing currently is making a wireless app free and available to use so that you can accept those funds. It's kind of like Square. If anyone's familiar with Square and receiving payment through Square, it's kind of like that. You just use the app. Really great, because I mean, if you are at a public place, oh my goodness, no, we got work to do. I'm excited. I am super, super excited. So I left the website for SNAP, and getting that process started to become a DMF on this particular slide. And you can also go to the www.marketlink.org/apply to learn more. So the information is there and available. It's so surprising. So from what I've heard, like this morning has been a wealth of resources, and I'm so glad to be able to share additional material that's beneficial to farmers. I'm super excited about that. And so just to give you a note, like SNAP redemption is on the rise. What you see happening, even, and of course, we can't necessarily account for last year, right? We all kind of blanked it all out of our memories for the most part. But, it has been trending, and you have more farmers that are utilizing this system to be able to accept SNAP monies, in exchange for the produce that they are farming. And that's amazing. We see these numbers that are jumping from 2009 to 2014, and they continue to climb. As long as people know that they have additional resources. I don't know if anyone has ever been on SNAP, previously known as food stamps. There's a limit to what you're able to buy. And so what we found is that there's a movement that's away from those processed boxed foods and actually encouraging people to take advantage of the nutrients that are found in these fresh fruits and vegetables that are being produced by small and large farmers. It's super, super important. And to also make it accessible has been key. And again, people are taking full advantage of it. Here's just a link with my resources that I used to put this presentation together. And then lastly, I thank you for your time today and your unwavering service to keeping us all nice and fed. My name is Chesha Hodge. I have a master's in public administration from Rutgers University. And if you'd like to reach me, you surely can. My email address is below at chodge@desu.edu. Thank you so much for your time. I can't wait to read some of these questions that are popping up in the chat.
Yeah, so thank you so much. That was great. We do have a few questions. I know back when we did the poll about leafy greens, you asked them to put in the chat what they're growing, and Cecilia did say she's growing kale and collards.
Oh, I love kale and collards. Now, there's different types of kale, aren't there? Because I see dinosaur kale. I would love to hear a little bit about the distinction between the types of kale. Is that possible?
Sure. Cecilia, can you unmute?
Hi, yes. Right now I'm doing smooth and curly and oh gosh. Yeah, smooth and curly kale.
Neat.
And
Great.
yeah, I don't want to give the full accurate information about the nutritional value because I don't have all of that, but I
That's
know
okay.
that
I'm just interested in hearing what people have going on.
yeah, so this past winter, this was like the first year I opted to start a winter crop. And so I planted cauliflower, cabbage, kale, and collards. And they thrived all winter while I went abroad to see what other people were growing into other countries and was
Awesome.
able to learn the nutritional values. And I'm glad you had mentioned the various people were talking about various berries and stuff like that and fruit. What I did learn while I was abroad is that a lot of the tree bearing fruits, people neglect to find out that the leaves have a tremendous healing properties. Um, uh, Full disclosure, I am diabetic, and while I was away, I learned that I was getting low on my medication, and someone said try some mango tea. Went outside and grabbed some branches off a tree, cleaned them puppies and steeped them. My sugar went down half of what it
Wow.
was.
All right, so
So
you guys know Cecilia next year will be one of the panelists, right? Because she has a wealth of knowledge. No, thank you so much for sharing, Cecilia. It's really awesome. And, to take the time and put in the effort to learn more about what food does for us is essential. It's essential. It's essential to
absolutely,
health and well-being. So thank you so much for sharing that.
absolutely. Thank you.
So one of the next questions is also from Cecilia. What is the difference between B6 and B12?
The difference between B6 and B12, they're really just different derivatives of a B vitamin. They have different purposes in the body, but it's more so about chemical structure than anything else. If I can draw, like I want to draw a picture, it's more so about chemical structure and the impact.
Okay. The next is kind of just a statement. Beth said that there is a Facebook group for Delaware farmers to sell directly to consumers, but she's not sure how active it is. Some others were talking about that. Great job. Everyone really loved your presentation.
Oh, thank you.
And then Beth also said for Facebook Marketplace, the group is keeping it local dash supporting Delaware agricultural producers. So, like if you're interested in that, I don't know anything about it, but one of your colleagues is networking, so check that out. But I just want to say thank you. You did a great job, and I look forward to working with you in the future.
Yes, indeed. Thank you all.